question is cheating a deal breaker?
No.
No.
Depends.
Absolutely.
Okay, who wants to go first? One of the no's?
Yeah,
It
probably.
happened. It wasn't for me.
Okay.
We remained together. It happened. But I think the depending parts, for sure, it depends on how, why, if you have that combo, if you're interested in having that combo. For me, I know other folks, it happens regardless of the scenario, done, no discussion. But for me, yeah, it's like, why did that happen?
Yeah. You have to look at why.
Yeah, why did that happen? I'll try, and if the reason makes,
What
if
it's
it can be
as simple
excusable?
as, it was a mistake. I was drunk.
yeah, well,
It's never just this.
yeah, there has to be more. If
Did he
it's
drink and land on your vagina?
Y'all tell me
If
you
you,
guys are safe.
if you tell me you have now other issues and that it led to you making a mistake, that's different, and I'll listen. Okay, but if it's just it was a mistake, then that can happen any other time.
Yeah.
Just off being this human being who is attracted to other people. Yeah, always, like I expect the same from a woman.
Yeah.
And so if it ever, I guess, manifests into something more and it's a mistake because maybe we had issues or something else was going on that led her into making that mistake,
Yeah.
we can sit down and talk about it. Like, but to me, it's not a deal breaker. I care more about don't hide it from me, don't disrespect me. Like, don't make it a thing where a whole bunch of people know you did something, and I'm just here like parading you like, yo, that's my woman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'd rather you just come to me, we talk about it, and we can end it like right there. Or we can say, let's keep it going and let's not tell anybody else because that's our business.
So what if you found out she didn't come to you?
It's a
Like
much-
someone told you
it's a much
and
nicer
everyone
to come.
kind of knew.
Yeah, I would ask them, and I hope she would tell me the truth. Because look, I know what it feels like. I've been in a position where I've cheated on someone, and it was wrong, but it was very difficult to come out and say.
Yeah.
Like, it was something I just wished, like, okay, I wish it never happened with this person. And there's some people you cheat on them just because the relationship just isn't that strong, and there isn't a connection, and you're together for the wrong reasons. So I feel like there's a whole lot of like gray area.
Yeah.
That it's never I cheat on you because I hate you or I'm a bad person. Sometimes you cheat because there are deeper issues that if you don't address it, will just keep happening.
Yeah, and I also feel like just like on a generalized level, for both men and women, there's this expectation that if your partner cheats on you, that's like it's a deal breaker. But when as you're in relationships and you grow up and you kind of realize that relationships actually work and it's a lifelong exercise to kind of live and like grow with this other person, that I mean, I totally agree with you. Cheating, it depends on context, it depends on how you find out, it depends on why it happened, and it just depends on, there's this like whole saying of like, it's not like you necessarily find the perfect person, but you find a person who you care about enough that their imperfections kind of are not as dominant as like the reasons you want to be with them. And it's the same thing with infidelity. If you're in a situation whereby you think that this is someone that's worth working through, it's worth working it out with, then it can make a relationship stronger, versus if it's kind of just like those Mr. for right now or Mrs. for right now, like it's you don't really see longevity, then it's not worth the emotional, mental effort to fix something that you don't see a future with or that you don't think is like valuable to you, which can also be a reason for cheating in the first place, because it's just like, this is just a scenario that I'm in for the wrong reasons and it's comfortable, but I'm not investing, I'm not doing the work to make this thing long term.
Yeah, but if you can think about it that way, that means we're giving. You're making infidelity sound like a basic thing that it's not a big factor, but I think infidelity is really big.
Yeah.
And the point in time you choose to be with someone else, why don't you let the other person go?
Yeah. I think
Wouldn't
that's
it be
the best
way
way.
easier?
Yeah, before we get into this other thing, because you're putting your life and their life and someone else's life in the same boat, and you don't know exactly what's going to happen. Sometimes it is probably a lack of empathy for the other person. that puts us in that situation because you're not thinking about the other person you're in a relationship with.
Yeah.
And that also should really dwell to the fact that someone's decision, usually when you cheat on them, that's what they're thinking about. They're thinking, you went out
Yeah.
and had this thing with someone else, but you didn't think about the consequences that will happen when I found out.
At least in that moment you didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for you as a person, you need to be able to see that in the person you're with and see how will this hurt them to a certain level or degree. Why am I doing this at this specific point in time? Is it better off for me to leave them or address this issue with them before continuing on making this specific decision? Sometimes we say it's impulse, you met someone and it happened. But would you come back and say, this thing happened yesterday night, this is what happened, I'm really sorry for it, or I feel like we're at a space whereby I don't want to continue with this because I did this? Would you come out and be that honest with that person?
It depends because I actually, just to go back to what you said, I actually know for a fact that there are people out there who know that, who are thinking of their partner, and they know that if I do this thing, it's going to hurt this person that I care about, and they are totally invested in that relationship that they have at home, but they will still cheat.
Is that
Total
total investment
beings,
though?
I mean, but
Or is it
human
just like
beings are
acknowledgement?
complicated. I think there's like, how do I explain this? We tend to take relationships and like scenarios like this, like cheating or proposing or whatever, as like kind of black and white situations, but actually being in a relationship, and especially when you're with someone for a long time, it is work. And human beings, okay, and then just going back even from like an biological evolutionary perspective that I believe in, monogamy is not, we're not wired as human beings to be monogamous. We are not. We are animals. We're not wired to be monogamous, but we choose to be monogamous because we have decided as like a human race that this is what's best for ourselves, for our own self-preservation, for the self-preservation of our kids and our genial and whatever, and love is good, but it's work. It's not that you just meet someone and for the entirety of the time that you're with them, you're blind to everyone else. Or even when you can tell that someone else is attractive, it's still every day a choice to go back home to the person that you've chosen to be with. And sometimes people slip. Maybe there could be actually something that's going on in your relationship in terms of maybe a lack of, if you've been with someone for a while, what tends to happen is you tend to take people for granted. The romance dies, you stop like doing the things that you used to do, and people grow distant. Or like if you have kids, marriage can become a routine of like, now the conversations between a couple are about, okay, do we pay school fees, how are the kids, rather than investing in your two's relationship. And then this random ass nigga comes, or this woman, and they're so interested in you. And it's not even someone, you don't really, like, it's not even about that external person. It's the fact that you're getting this attention, or there's this nuance that has died in your relationship at home. You are 110%, you want to be with that person that you've made that commitment to. But we're still human beings, and we still have desires, and we still want to be wanted. Especially, both men and women, that's how we see these babas with these young girls, impressionable girls, and it doesn't make sense to us. But it's really because this girl has like stars in her eyes, and she makes him feel young. Or even women who like will go for these like young boys that can't offer them anything, but because these guys have stars in their eyes, and they look at her and they appreciate that this older, awesome woman is interested in me, and they're like, oh my God. As human beings, we want to be wanted, and you can totally end up making a choice, which is a mistake, to step outside of your marriage or your situation because of all these small factors that add up, but you're totally invested in wanting to be at home. It's kind of, what really happens is how you deal with that after you've made that decision. But I don't think it's like a test. I don't think cheating is like, me cheating on you means that I don't give a fuck about your feelings.
But what if they're a serial cheater?
See that?
Because when you forgive them, I feel like you take
Yeah.
the gamble of knowing it's either this was a one-time thing, or you're telling them, just don't let me catch you again.
Yeah. So it just depends on how you deal with it and your.
Well, the dynamic changes because the moment you cheat on someone,
Yeah.
you lose their trust.
Yeah.
It changes everybody in the relationship.
And gaining, that means your relationship from that point on is very different from how it used to be.
Yeah.
You see, and to a certain degree whereby, we are human beings, and yes, we're more like animals, and our general instinct is maybe monogamy is not it. There's a certain thing, I feel like we all have to have respect for people who are married.
Yeah.
And in that sense of relationship, there's a certain way you treat your married friends that you don't treat your single friends. So the stories you tell with your single friends and the certain stories with your married friends, well, it's not for you.